Alright, here we go. I'm showing you how you do a brand new bin. You go up here to new, pick what unit you have. Like mine was a Tech 3 standard that I did whatever. Then obviously you have probably a 4-cylinder, 4-stroke. Then phased is batch fire, sequential is sequential. This is mine. Sequential is staged. Injection. Pick your max RPM. It just gives you the max, at red line or pulse width. Time on gamma, don't worry about that. Injector timing, don't worry about that. Minimum injector turn on time. If you know what the injector's minimum is, put it in there. 1.2 or something. If you know what the TPS is, you can always adjust these later. But put it in there. I know mine is like 1.43 or something in my car. Then this. For a 4-cylinder turbo, always put street. Doesn't matter if you have HKS cams or whatever. What they do is, this is for like big V8 engines that have no vacuum at idle. They do what's called a TPS map blend in order to get the fueling down where it's correct for that low vacuum, and idle helps them idle better. I used to do that and I made the mistake, and so you'll be going down and it should show you're at like 40 kPa. And in reality, because the TPS map blend, all of a sudden it'll come up and it'll show like you're at 1 pound of boost at idle. So don't ever do that. Just always keep it street stock. Then choose your map sensor, or you can custom make one. Like mine, I did mine in PSI. You can make your own map sensors, but do whatever. They probably have one. GM 3-bar. They give you its range. It's good to how much boost. If you know how much boost you're going to, put it in there. 200 kPa. Number of injectors 4. Estimated engine horsepower. So whatever you think this car is going to make, 500. They'll give you a estimated right there with 500 horse. It's saying you need a minimum of this much injector. And so say your injectors are bigger, you can put in a bigger injector, and it's going to give you down here a calculated tog. So if the guy has, this is in pounds per hour or whatever, which 95 pound an hour is 1000 cc. So if they have 1000 cc injectors, you type that, it gives you its estimated that. So then you go back here, the time on gamma, and type that in, 12.25. There you go. This is it. You have your base bin. Create bin. Name it what you want. Now you're in. Now you go to like ignition, and then you have all these. And just to change this point, just double click that, and it brings it up, and you can change your KPA points. So then just do it how you want, whatever you want, just make them. And same with RPM over here. You can just change them to what you all want. And then they always bring this up. This is the same timing grid in every single one, whether it's naturally aspirated to whatever. Well, maybe not. They might have got smarter these days with the WinTech 4, but the other ones, it was always the same. So then you just got to go through and just start making everything. The volume efficiency chart, so now this is all set at 0. And you can go from -50 to +50. And let's say, this obvious, it's pretty obvious. It's probably like other ECUs where when you have this line, the numbers should match your torque. So if peak torque's like 6 grand, obviously this is going to end up being, whatever, probably the highest number, 12, and then like, taper down the 0 by there or whatever, it'd be like 5, 9, 12, if that's peak torque. And this should follow your torque curve, 8, 4, and then 2 or something. The numbers will look like that, and this will follow your torque curve. And then to find like duty cycle and all that, you just go here. You can show injector pulse width if that makes you, and you can actually still adjust in this with the arrows like left and right. You see, I can make it go up and down. And then you just hit back home, and it'll show you what that is at that point. So yeah, and then like obviously, the VE follows your torque curve, and if you go to injector duty cycle, this should follow horsepower. So obviously if like, let's pretend this actually, you can even do it in duty cycle. You know, say peak horse is 7 grand and by 8 grand he loses a little. So in reality it would look something like that. You know, the VE table might look like that. Injector duty cycle. Oh, I gotta hit it. Sometimes you gotta hit twice. You gotta reset it. But yeah, you can see it like goes up and then back down. So that should follow horsepower. VE table follows torque, peak torque at there. You know, and then injector onset. This is for taking fuel out at idle. To show you this, we'll go into the pulse width. So you have like 1.2 milliseconds there. You see that? So in the entire grid, everywhere from top to bottom, it will add or take away pulse width. So if I can say, you know, I need, you know, some taken away, you go negative 0.5. Wow, what did it do? Minus 0.125. There. It took out, you know, that much of a millisecond out in the entire map. So what it does is it does a lot of adjustment near idle, but near full throttle here, it's very minimal. And that's how you kind of adjust your curve. I think the head guy John said the way you do this is you figure out your tog, right? Like put it in here, go to this, and adjust this till the car is kind of idling on its own before you even do anything with the map. All your numbers should be at 0. He said. Then you start doing this till the car starts kind of running correctly. You add or take away. Then after that, just rev it freely and play with tog. And you can change the number until it starts revving decent. And if it revs, once you have this idling good and it revs decent, then you start going in the VE table and making adjustments. That's his recommendation of how to start a car from scratch. And then what else do we have? You know, rev limiter stuff. I mean, you'll figure this out. This is easy stuff. Sensor parameters. You have to go in here and, you know, adjust TPS stuff. Figure out what it is. Map sensor's already done. Coolant's done. I don't know. I never even do the EGO correction, but this is what they recommend. But you can go here and type all your own for if you have, you know, if you run where it actually gives feedback and correction. So I don't know, there you kind of have it. It's pretty simple. And then advanced parameters. This is, you know, usually cam sensors are Hall. I know that's what I have. Otherwise, I used to have a MAG and I had a check engine light all the time. Like at any time I went over 7,000 RPM, my check engine light would go on. So MAG, crank, Hall, the 11th tooth. And then like if let's say you put a timing light on it and you know, you show like you went in here and you highlighted the whole grid and just put everything at, you know, whatever, 12. Good, the whole thing's 12, so you know you're at 12 degrees ignition advance. Then you put a timing light on it just to double check to make sure the guy's got everything right. You can go into advanced and say he is it's showing like 13 or 14. You can actually go -2 in there. Now when you come in here, it actually show you the correct timing. Oh, I guess it's opposite, but you know, you can play with it so that, you know, or +2, because you had it set at 12 but it was showing 14 on the timing lights. Now when you go in here, everything shows 14, so you're actually playing with the correct numbers. You can do that without having to sit there and mess with the trigger wheel for 2 degrees, because it'd be like impossible. So I hope this helps.